Now, love is a human emotion that we all feel. Love can come in the form of attachment or friendship, love for an object, love for a feeling, love for a food. There's so many different ways of loving, but loyalty is something that takes time. In our quest for truth, we often get disillusioned by the fleeting nature of reality. We love to hold on to all the good memories, good relationships, good friendships, and that's where loyalty comes in. We can leave behind a legacy where we live our life on the basis of our true path. Being open to love and engaging in the act of love is a courageous thing because it opens us to feelings of hurt. And by allowing ourselves to love and allowing ourselves to be loved, we acknowledge that not only does this make us feel vulnerable, but we trust that even if we got hurt in the process, we are able to recover and it will be worth it. We decide that despite the risk of getting hurt, love is something that is still worth our time and effort. I think that as a society, we've forgotten how to deeply love. There has been a loneliness epidemic going on for over a decade. This shows that people have trouble making deep connections. It's not like we have less people in the world. In fact, we have more. How come we are more lonely now than before? It doesn't make sense. Well, it does when we realize that it's not because there's a lack of people around us. It's that we haven't opened ourselves up to be loved and actually making the effort to love and engaging in that vulnerability that makes us human. I feel that friendships can be easily lost based on a little fight or something. It seems that we're becoming less and less likely to fight for our friendships and fight for our relationships. And we're just ready to jump the gun on cutting someone off from our life if we disagree on something. That is not a healthy way to live. What legacy are we leaving behind? What are we showing the world? To open ourselves to love, we must also consider ourselves worthy of love. And how can we consider ourselves worthy of love if we don't love ourselves? It's a very common cliche that to love somebody else, you must first learn to love yourself. But it is true. Sometimes it's really uncomfortable to love yourself because that means you might have to do boring things like taking care of your hygiene and making sure that your house is clean and feeding yourselves the right foods. That's all part of self-love and self-care. Making sure that we're not engaging in really unhelpful habits, whether they be behavioral or thought patterns that are just damaging us. Making sure that our thoughts are not bringing us down, but actually uplifting us. That's all self-care. Even things like meditation can be part of a self-care routine. When you truly love yourself, you don't need the love of another person. Your true self just shines, and you make yourself open to be loved. And whoever can recognize that will show you. It's important to stay loyal to our commitments and make sure that we know what those commitments are. How committed are you to self-love? Self-compassion is another form of self-love. When we make mistakes, instead of beating ourselves up about it, having self-compassion is the brave thing to do, is the loving thing to do. Understanding that you are human, and even if you might have put unrealistic standards on yourself, that's still part of being human. And it doesn't mean that you can't change. It doesn't mean it's the end of the world. If we make mistakes, we can forgive ourselves. That's part of self-love. Another part of self-love is making sure that we're not lying to ourselves. It can be really easy to be in denial. If you have some sort of self-destructive habit and you tell yourself it's okay, I'm not doing it that often, it's not that bad, all my friends are doing it, etc., etc., you're lying to yourself because you do know how unhelpful that habit is. And there is a part of you that wants to be better. And that's why you have all these reasons for why you still do the thing, because the part of you that really wants you to grow and be better is just waiting for you to drop all those unhelpful things from your life and move forward into a more fuller you. We can even let ourselves love ourselves through our mistakes and challenging situations. Say we're stuck in an unhealthy pattern. So what? If you can acknowledge that, that's one step closer to changing that. But if you're going to be lying to yourself and you're in denial of any of that happening, that's not doing yourself any favors. To be vulnerable is to open yourself up for rejection, is to be humble. Being vulnerable can be a really good exercise in humility because it allows you to see yourself without all the walls that you normally put up, without all those safety mechanisms you've built around yourselves, and truly see yourself as how you are, in your most vulnerable state. We must learn to be committed to our own journeys if we really want to move forward in life. Remember to go easy on yourself if you make mistakes. Just acknowledge what's going on and not be in denial. And allow yourself to grow instead of blaming yourself. This is how we can all move forward and not be stuck in the past. I wish for all of you to stay well and be committed in your life and in your journey. I'll see you next time.